All right, everybody. Our recording is in progress now, and welcome to our Thursday night Zoom trading for God's Money. And we're going to be talking about several subjects tonight. Most of them are going to be around your benefits, and also we're going to talk quite a bit in depth about numismatic coins. So I know there's a lot of curiosity, a lot of people don't understand numismatics, how they work, and what is the value of a collectible coin. Now, what is this game of collectible coins? Well, as you know, there's two things that we need in order to stay active in 7K metals. That is either the collectible coin or the 7K Pro, and I'm going to address both of those tonight. Okay. So first, let's just address the 7K Pro, and we'll go ahead and get that off the table so that we can focus mainly on the collectible coins for tonight. Now, they are requirements in order to stay in the active status. You must get one of the two, and I've been over that with several of y'all why it's there, uh, so that we understand that it's a necessity. It's not something that the in order to keep us legal. It's not something that the company just wants to earn an extra buck off of you for. It's plugging some tax loopholes in the law by having that monthly benefit. That's what they refer to as a monthly benefit, not a monthly privilege like Sam's Club or Costco or one of those other companies. It is a benefit. So there is differences in that. We won't dive too deep into that tonight. Okay. Now, let me reduce my screen just a little bit. Okay, it said I can't minimize, so while I'm recording. All right, so let me do it this way. I'll go to my trusty little phone here. My subscriptions. Okay, so a lot of people will ask you, what is a 7K Pro, right? So one of the easiest ways to answer them on that is everybody now, if you will, just go to my subscriptions. Okay, y'all can kind of sound off, let me know when you're there on my subscriptions.
Good.
All right. You there, Brenda? Okay. So if you'll notice, it says that it's $7.99 a month, but underneath that, it breaks it down exactly what you're getting for that. So a lot of people say, well, where is the value in the 7K Pro? Well, there it is. It's listed in black and white right there. That's what you're getting. That's your value. You're getting 7K Pro is one simple subscription pack with powerful benefit, exclusive coin drops. See, only people that's part of 7K Pro can be part of those exclusive coin drops. Deals on travel and savings at stores. That's the 7K shop app and travel app. Okay. If you go inactive, you lose that benefit. You don't have it. Okay. Members only educational content, aka 7K University. You'll notice that when you go to 7K University, there's certain sections of it that says 7K Pro. If you do not have 7K Pro, you do not have access to those additional training uh, uh, modules. 7K Pro giveaways, exclusive trips, experiences, products, convention tickets, exclusive opportunities to meet with the leaders and get free admission to trainings. All of those things are part of the 7K Pro. So that's a lot of stuff. That's a big bang for the buck. Okay. So we've got that out of the way. Now we know what 7K Pro is. All right. Now let's talk about collectible coins. How many on the call has actually watched the new version of the collector certification training.
I've
Well,
started.
you started. Okay.
Haven't finished.
All right. So we really, really need to watch it. Everybody needs to watch that one. It goes into a lot more depth than the old one did. Okay. And it's a super thing to really understand what collectible coins are and what they can do with them. Okay. So I'm not going to drop any names, but I got an email from Pastor, and then I received a text. A gentleman that was a member, he joined, and he was a member about 4 months, and he dropped out. Okay. Uh, a lot of the reason people drop out is that they do not utilize the knowledge that's here. They drop out and they say, I don't see a value in this. Well, how do I answer that? How do I approach that delicately? Maybe this way. Ray, what did you do for a living in the workplace for most of your life?
Worked, I worked at chemical plants and refineries in Southeast Texas.
Okay. And Greg, what are you doing? What did you do?
Did you say Craig?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
I developed supply chain software.
Okay. And myself, I was a broadband engineer for 50 years. Now, in order to be good at that, I'm sure, Ray, you had to take continuing education classes and stay up to date with all the new stuff and plan updates, all that other stuff. You had to study and be aware of what you were doing to be successful in it, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, I
Uh,
did.
and I'm assuming the same thing would be true for you too, Greg.
Yes, sir.
And see, in my industry, for over 50 years, I mean, it doesn't look anything like what we began with, right? I mean, we started out with only 13 channels on cable television, and now everything in my home is streaming wireless and it's being fed by fiber optic cable about the size of a human hair, and it utilizes light, not a form of electricity. Now, see, but I would have never been able to keep up with that industry if I didn't study. It's almost like the Bible when the Bible tells you to study yourself to be approved, instant in and out of season. We've got to be students all of our lives. So most of these people I see that get in quick, they're expecting some pie in the sky and expecting everybody to give it to them on a silver platter. It's not going to work. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to evolve. You're going to have to ask questions. And we have so much of that is built into our systems in the 7K University, in our training meetings like this, to where we can learn and aspire to do better and do greater and perfect this use of God's money. This is a great gift God has given us. And to put it bluntly, if we don't utilize it to its max, we're not being good stewards of what God has given us. So we should be good stewards of this gift that God has given us. Now, let's talk about the collectible coins. This gentleman sent one and he said, how do I liquidate my collectible coins? Well, all of that information is in his 7K. But see, he's been inactive and lost his account for over 3 years, but he wants the answers to it. He had the answers, they were there. They're in the collector certification training and they're in the stack and sale. Now, his options now as a non-member is to go to a pawn shop or a coin shop and get messed over. That's his options. Or the other option is he can join 7K, he can rejoin, get a new account, and utilize Stack and Sell and be able to sell those collectible coins on a worldwide market, 73 countries with hundreds of thousands of buyers, and you list the price that you want to sell it for. See, those answers that I just gave, that simple and that easy, they were everyone in his back office with his training. So I know I'm preaching to the choir because all of you guys are here and you're wanting to learn more, but this is a lesson you need to get out to the people that you're signing up and the people that are wanting to become members and the people that see the value in the gold and silver. They need more to see more than just the value in the gold and silver. They need to see the value in 7K metals. What a wonderful, wonderful thing this is. There's nothing else like it in the world. There's really nothing else like 7K metals. All right. So let's get into those collectible coins. How many on this call would think that the purity and weight of a specific metal in a collectible coin has something to do with its grade?
Probably not. It's probably the rarity of the coin that actually makes it more valuable.
Good job, Ray. Good job. Okay. So I pulled up something on the grading process, and I'm going to read it to you so everybody understands. See, and this is something that you need to be teaching people because people will ask you, well, what is that coin worth? You know, or why? I've been asked this a lot of times. Uh, why am I paying $149 for a coin that I can just buy the same coin for 30 or $40, $50 cheaper? Okay. And they'll ask those questions. But did you hear what they said? They could buy the same coin. See, they're unaware that they're not buying the same coin. They're looking at the coin and the metal. That's it. See, comparing an ungraded bullion coin, a silver eagle, to a graded MS-70 is like comparing that Dodge Durango my wife has in the garage sitting there to one just like it that has a 6-cylinder in it. They appear to be the same car, but I guarantee you that 7.4 liter Hemi is not the same car as that 6-cylinder, right? They're different. They, by appearances to somebody that doesn't know cars, doesn't know motors, they appear to be the same. Well, to somebody that doesn't know coins, hasn't studied, learned, and educated themselves, they appear to be the same. And until you do that, you're always going to lose. Just like, you know, Craig, in your industry, had you not studied, you wouldn't have stayed there very long. You'd have been let go, right? Same thing for you, Ray. Had you not kept up, somebody else would have stepped up and took this control when you couldn't take control of what you were supposed to be doing and didn't have the knowledge to do it. So you would have been replaced. Well, it's no different here. You've got to study, you've got to show yourself approved by studying this. So let's go into this. So this is where you may want to take some notes. Okay. So the core grading matrix, and I broke it out by percentages through my research. Okay. In my industry, when we were giving things, when I was doing like projected budgets, things had weight, like what was the most important, what was the least important, what was had the medium importance. And I would give each one of those things weight. And the more important it was, the heavier the weight was in percentages. Okay, so that's basically kind of what we've done here. So say 40 to 50% of the weight of grading a coin is going to be in these things. So you might want to write down 40 to 50% is going to be in these following things. And now this is using both PCGS and NGC standards, both grading companies. Okay, so these are the top two, and you'll see the 7K mainly uses NGC, but we have in the past used some PGCs. I mean PCGs, and we do have some in our product line also. They're both very good. The only difference between the two, I think, is that NGC is just more recognized in more countries of the world than the other one is. Okay. So the other one is basically like London, Scotland, Ireland, Canada, United States, Mexico, as to where NGC goes all around, everybody around the Mediterranean in those areas. They recognize NGC as very huge there. Matter of fact, last year on our trip to Italy, I actually met with one of the graders for NGC in Italy. Happened to run across him at a coin shop, and he actually knew Miles Standish and had not known that Miles had passed away. And I had a good conversation with him. We swapped stories about Miles and some of the stuff that we had experienced with him. And it was really a wonderful time I had there. Okay, so now 40 to 50% is going to be what is called the business strike. STRIKE, strike. That means that when that press comes down and hits that silver and it presses that image into it, it stamps it into it, it's called a strike. Okay. So that's what they're going to be inspecting is a strike. Now remember, 40 to 50% of the weight is going just on that. They're going to be looking for contact marks. They call them bag marks. They're going to look for scratches. Those are sometimes called hairlines. They're going to be looking for rim nicks, stuff right around the rim. They're going to look for what they call placket flaws. That's where some of the metal actually pulls away from it. Okay, when the press comes up, the striker comes up.
Can you repeat that last one, please?
It's placket flaws. It's PLACHET flaws. FLAWS.
Vintage flowers. Got you. Thank you.
Okay. And another thing they're going to be looking for is dings from the mint handling. And why it matters the most, for most mint state or MS coins especially, the number and severity of the marks largely determine whether the coin is an MS60 or an MS67 or an MS70. So that alone will cause them to be graded somewhere between the 60 and the 70 mark. A single heavy mark in the prime focal area, such as the cheek of the Morgan dollar, can drop the grade significantly. It depends whether it's on a focal point or out on the edge of the coin. Those are determining factors too on this first matrix. Okay. Where is it visible at? Okay. 20 to 25% is the next percentage of weight. Now, it's got two names. They'll call it luster, which I've heard Miles use that term a lot. He called it the luster. And the other is called the mint bloom, BLOOM. And that's going to be 20 to 25%. Now, what's evaluated on this? It's the strength of the cartwheel effect. That's the first thing. brightness and reflectivity, and its originality, not cleaned or dipped excessively. So they want it to be as an original as it can be when it left that mint. Okay, it is very simple. Strong, undisturbed luster is a high grade. Weak, dull, or broken luster is the lower grade. Now, to get a PF or proof, this doesn't say it on this particular thing I brought up, but Miles told me how they do the proof. Okay, so for a proof, what they'll do is they'll take that coin and they place it on a non-reflective mat. It's black. And they take an instrument and they place it above it and they shine a light down on it at a particular luminance. I don't know exactly what the luminance is on it, but it also measures the amount that's reflected back up to the instrument. Okay. Now, from what I understand from talking to Miles, is there's a 1-digit threshold. In other words, if they're putting it, say a 60 luminous down and it comes back up and they're looking for it to be say a 55 or above, if it's a 54, it's still a mint state. But if it goes to a 56, then it becomes a proof. See, it goes over that 1-digit margin. The human eye can't even see it. It has to be done with instruments. So that's how deep they get into really, this is a science. It's an art, right? So it's not just they're throwing it out there and some guy in a pawn shop's looking at it through a loop and saying this is it. This is something I would never do. I would never go to a pawn shop or to a coin dealer and buy one of these coins that's in a little plastic, the little Ziploc bag, and they have a little paper thing written on them. You may have seen it, and it's going to have it handwritten on there, MS 68 or MS 55 or something like that. That is not graded by a professional licensed grading company. That's graded by the individual at that coin shop that thinks he knows what he's doing. It's self-educated people. I would never do that. Okay, they're going to have a grading typed label and they're going to have a barcode on them if they're truly graded. See, I've got coins here. You see these coins right here. They're encapsulated, right? A gold coin. Here's a silver one. It's encapsulated. But those are not graded. They're just encapsulated. Okay. Now, what will throw you off is if you see it, but you don't see a grading number like MS or PF. It's got a barcode on it. You see the barcode? To the untrained eye, they would think that's a graded coin.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's just their tracking barcode. Okay. And I just bought those because I particularly liked the coins and the things that they were. They were happened to be made in the places that I was visiting, right? So this gold coin, I actually picked that up in Scotland, in Edinburgh. There's the castle. And this one I picked up in Dublin, and it has the Celtic cross on it. And it has the map of Ireland on the back of it. I just like the coins. They're not graded coins. I didn't buy them for graded coins. I just bought them because I like the coins. Okay. And they'll be worth their face value in gold and silver.
Those are cool.
All right. So you've got to know what you're looking for with collectible coins. All right. Now, So here's the last thing that, well, no, there's two more things. Okay. So the last two things, 10 to 15% is going to be the strike quality. Okay. And they're going to be looking for this with the strike quality. They're going to be looking for sharpness of design details. How detailed is the design on the coin, the image itself? Okay. Uh, Completeness of hair, feathers, stars, etc. How complete are those little details? You know, if you have a feather that's just the shape of a feather and it's smooth, it's not as detailed as a feather that has the little line down and you see the serrations on the feather like a real feather, correct? So that's how deep they're going to be looking into the details of that. And known weak strike areas of that coin type. Each coin type will have a weak area just because of the way the metal is pressed. And these experts know where those strike weakness areas are, and they'll look for stretch marks, they'll look for pulls, they'll look for riveting, they'll look for all kind of problems in these high stress areas. One of the things that is extremely hard to do is to get an elevation above that surface that is very high. So those type coins are extremely hard to make. Does anyone know what that is called? All right, so let's go over this real quick. The distance that the image stands above the coin is called the relief. If y'all want to write that down, the relief.
Prentice, what did you say? It's the distance between.
The surface of the coin and the elevation of the image. How high does the image stand off of the coin? That's called
Oh, okay.
that's called the
Okay.
relief.
All right.
You're going to get that if you do the collector certification. They're going to talk about that. Okay, and I'm going to do y'all a little bit dirty right now because I know it, but I'm going to make y'all go look for it. All coins have what we call the heads and the tails, right? No,
Yep.
those are nicknames. They've got that side and they've got that side. This one and that one. Now, all our life, we've heard it called heads or tails, right?
Right.
So go to your section 2 on your collector certification training, and you're going to learn what the real name of them is. See, I wasn't going to tell you. I told you I was going to do y'all dirty. I'm going to make y'all go look. Okay. And then next week on our training, we'll see who all actually went and looked and seen what the real name of the front and back of a coin is. All right. That's one of my favorite ones. I keep it with me. It's referred to as the Liberty coin. I don't know if any of y'all's ever seen it. It says the price of liberty on this side. My light's reflecting too bad. Price of liberty. And on this side, don't tread on me. Yeah, it's a beautiful coin. I love it. It stays right here in my wallet, just like that. That that is my demonstration coin to where I talk about the gallon of milk and the dollar bill. That's actually the only cash I pack on me. It's on my wallet. Okay, and we'll go over that after I stop recording. It's a great tool. Everybody needs to have a dollar bill and a silver coin in their pocket. And I'll show you how to use it. Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to our lesson again. All right. Now, it says important. The strike is judged relative to how that date mint typically appears. Now, the last thing is another 10 to 15%, and it's called eye appeal. Like your eyes, eye appeal. And what's evaluated here is its overall visual attractiveness, toning, and toning is natural versus artificial. Okay. So it gives some examples of toning. Let's see if I can zoom in, turn it sideways here. No, it's not going to do it that way. Okay. Now, both of these are silver dollars. Let's see if I can get it close enough that you can see there. Okay. But you see the one that has the rainbow color on it? That's a natural thing. And that's what it's called, is rainbowy. Believe it or not, that actually adds value to one. If it's free of corrosion and it's done that adds value to it. Okay. So that's one of the things they're looking for. I would love to get my hands on a few of those so far. It's very, very rare that the coins do that. And they'll do it to certain intensities. You see, here's one that's rainbowed also, but not quite as much as that other one had, right? And they're looking for color balance and spotting. Spotting is going to be signs of impurity in that metal, okay? So eye appeal can push a coin up or down within the grade range. And then there's another thing that for circulated coins that they call wear factor. Okay, so if they're grading a circulated coin, it's going to have a wear factor to it. Now, you will see an additional grade numbers with circulated coins. Now, non-circulated coins are only going to have like MS70 or MS69 or that's the only numbers you'll see. Okay, it's its mid-state or its proof or whatever it is. But circulated coins will have those, plus they will have another one. You will see grades such as G. G means good. VG, that means very good. F, that stands for fine. VF stands for very fine. XF, extremely fine. And AU stands for about uncirculated. Now I started from the bottom and went to the finest one of those grades. So each time I went up a grade. Okay. So it's going to be G, VG, F, VF, XF, and AU.
Sorry, Prentice, tell me again what AU stands for.
About uncirculated.
Almost.
Uncirculated?
Yeah, about uncirculated.
What? You guys both spoke about uncirculated. Okay,
There
thank
you
you.
Now, here are some of the things they look for different emphases on proof coins. Now, only ones that are rated as proof, they're going to look for these extra little things. They're going to look for surface preservation. That's about 50% of it. They're going to look at the cameo contrast. Okay. And everybody knows what the cameo is. That's the side image. You know, they have a cameo side image on it. It's going to be about 20%. Now, they're going to look at that strike, you know, the impact. And if it's unusually sharp, they're going to add maybe another 10% to it. An eye pill can be at 20%. Now that gives it a proof rating of not just a PF, but a PR. If those things exceed a PF or proof, they go to the next stage, which is a PR, 60 or 70. See, there's a lot more to grading these coins than you thought, isn't it? We're starting to learn some stuff tonight. So let me check my time. Yeah, we've at about 48 minutes now. There's some more things. Write down, and you could look these up on your own and study it. Number one is how the Sheldon scale works, and that's what we went over. It's a 1 to 70 scale. Okay, you can look that up, and that's spelled Sheldon, the Sheldon scale. Okay. And there's just a lot to learn about grading coins or collectible coins. Okay. That is why when you buy collectible coins and you're buying from a reputable source to where the grading is done, and you know the grading is done, and these have been not only inspected by the grading company like PCS or NGC, you have people that are on our teams with 7K medals that knows what they're looking for, that were trained by Miles Standish himself. He passed away, but that team that he built here at 7K is still there, and they're still working, and they're still using his standards. So that is the power that 7K gives you, that you have in your pocket. So that should give you a lot more confidence when you go to talking about graded coins and what they are. And when people come to you and ask you, well, why would I want to pay another $60 for the same coin? We just went over the answers tonight. That's why. Because these coins have been through that rigorous grading process. They're guaranteed to be flawless. And people that know and understand this, the people that hundreds of thousands of them out there that know this, are willing to pay the big dollars for them. They're willing to pay that extra. So there's a market for them out there. And it's not your local pawn shop, and it's not your local coin dealer. It's the world of those collectible people. And where do you have access to that world of collectible peoples? Only one place right now. Stack and sell by 7K medals. 73 countries worth of. All right. So I didn't do a disclaimer at the beginning of this. I apologize for it. So I'm just going to tag it on to the end a little bit. This lesson tonight was not planned to be financial advice, or it wasn't planned to be tax advice. If you need financial advice, then go to your financial advisors or seek out those professionals. Or if you're looking for tax, do the same with that too. Look for those specialists or go to your tax preparer. They can let you know about that. Now, one thing I will tell you about these, now that I mentioned that these coins that you purchase, these graded coins, are non-reportable and they're tax exempt. So you don't have to pay taxes on them. All right. All right, well, thank y'all, and I'm going to stop the recording, and then from there, we're going to have questions and answers.